guys. I just wanted to do a quick video because there were some articles coming out about midwifery care. Oh, I have the sun in my face. And what I noticed in the article was there was a lot of non-facts put in and stuff that really just wasn't accurate information, and also skewed some of the info to suit the opinion of the article. And so I felt like that was just not right. And I also felt like a lot of people don't know that when reading an article, and they really trust that the source has been checked and validated before something's posted. And unfortunately, that's not how a lot of our articles are written now. A lot of it is really written with a lot of information that isn't necessarily validated before it's posted, and it's also not always true. Like, where does the source even come from? Where'd you get those facts? So I felt like because of that, I wanted to just touch on a few things. So, you know, why would somebody, what is a midwife? And like, what is our role? Why are we even there? I think it's important to understand the history of midwifery and how long midwives have been around. We've been around, well, probably there's only, I think, midwives and one other profession which can be connected to midwifery are the two oldest professions going back to like biblical times. And I think, you know, a lot of evolving obviously has occurred because of that, because you go through the years, you learn more, and you start to use the updated information into your practice and into your field. And so, like anything, midwifery has evolved from back in the times where there weren't hospitals or OBs to now, when there's a lot more resources at our fingertips for most areas. So midwives are usually, and in other countries where they lead, they're the primary caretakers for low-risk moms. And so what that means is that when a woman becomes pregnant, they are seen and cared for by a midwife. So the midwife is doing certain blood work, vitals, checking on them, checking on baby, to make sure that things are going and staying nice and healthy and low risk. And it's job to be able, with their knowledge and their skill and their training, to be able to pinpoint a problem or a risk factor. And it is their responsibility to then reach out to the next level to get help. Hold on one moment. Go. Out. So, oh, you guys, you have to see one. Go. It's my dog and my cat. So anyway, they once they identify a problem, then they either address it or they reach out to the next level up to be able to address that. And that, whether that's an OB or a perinatologist or MFM. So that's kind of their training and their purpose. So the education that comes along with it is really vital, because then they're able to take that and train the moms on how to be healthy during pregnancy and what's important, what isn't. And they do a lot of the foundation so that when the pregnancy starts, it has a strong foundation to grow into a healthy pregnancy and healthy birth. Typically, if we have a mom who's really healthy during her pregnancy, we expect to see a great birth outcome. I mean, it doesn't always happen. And again, they're trained for those shifts, but it's important to start off healthy. And the role of the midwife is to really help that beginning start off good. So a lot of, you know, they say, oh, midwives provide more personalized care. Well, that's the reason why we provide more education for our moms. We provide more one-on-one visits and understanding and time, and because we want to ensure that we're starting off right and then we're continuing on that healthy level. If we don't give a good foundation, it's not really fair for the families, right? And then having that midwife there, providing all of that one-on-one and the education, it allows them to work as a team, so that when something happens, the communication is there, and then the families and the midwives can say, oh, okay, well, this is happening. Well, we need to reach out because this is now going to a higher level. Similar to like if you were going to a general practitioner and they found a lump, then, you would move on to someone else that would be able to address whatever that issue is. So having that general practitioner, that family doctor, specifically for, your overall health, allows you to stay healthy. It also allows them to pick up a problem and transfer it over to the right spot at a good time, so that hopefully it's identified early. You've been getting that care and you've been seeing that person frequently, as you should. And it allows things to kind of stay, even if a problem does present, it doesn't go into a huge problem. We've caught it early, ideally, and we've kept it at bay. Skipping that altogether is really not good care and not starting off right. So I think these articles that are coming out with just birth outcomes, well, our birth outcomes are higher and better anyway. I think there's some really great organizations that you can look at that actually have real data and real numbers to back up the outcomes that they provide you. MANA is a really great website that you can check out. It's Midwife Alliance of North America. Then there is NACPM, which is the North America Certified Professional Midwives. They have a chapter here in Florida. I'm based in Florida, so there's a chapter in South Florida that started, and they're great. It's a great resource. It's a larger organization that has really gathered, and they've been around longer, so they've gathered a lot more info so that they can properly educate people on the benefits of midwifery care, what our outcomes are, why is it so important to have midwives there as their first go-to, and kind of backs that up with all the births that they get their information from, and then they develop their stats. So MANA's a good one. What's another one? There's so many great organizations that have years and years been building up their resources and their data and their stats and stuff from midwives all over the nation. And I think it's important, if you read something, you understand the source and make sure that it's a reputable source that's actually provided you accurate numbers and not skewed it to benefit the opinion of the author. So I guess to summarize, if you would think about it like this, if you had to go to a hospital for an emergency and there was no emergency room doctor there, that would kind of suck. Now they would be trying to figure out, okay, well, what's your issue? Get the specialist, go right to it. Whereas the emergency room doctor has a good knowledge for the foundation. Okay, well, you're coming in with a problem. Let's identify what that problem is. Can we fix it? If we can't fix it, we're going to send you to a specialist. Midwives see the pregnant mom. You're pregnant. Great. This is what you need to do to be able to stay healthy. Let's make sure we're doing it. Let's meet every month and every 2 weeks and every week. If we're not doing that and there's a problem presenting, we're identifying it and then we're sending it to the right source to be able to get fixed. Same thing with birth. Midwives, I know one of the articles was saying that we don't carry malpractice. Like, we're required to carry malpractice. That is a huge thing that we have to carry. It's very expensive. And it's something that we, all Florida midwives that are licensed, have to have. And not necessarily every OB has to have that. So that's important to understand. And that was a big typo in that article, unless I misread it. But anyway, we have to have malpractice. And I also think having that first go-to, that ER doctor, if we didn't have that, if we didn't have the midwives, the cost of care would be very high, going straight to a specialist for something that could have been handled by someone who has a knowledge in normal. you're skipping a really important part of healthy care, and it would essentially increase the cost of care overall for everybody. So I think understanding the real roles is important so that we can respect each person's spot. Obviously, problems happen in birth at the last minute as well. Thank God that midwives are trained. Also, thank God midwives carry equipment. We all have to carry equipment for emergencies. That's another something I read in an article that was wrong. Believing my car is prepped and ready every single day with my emergency equipment, all my equipment. I'm not going there with nothing. And the state wouldn't allow it. The state regulates midwives pretty well to make sure that we're doing the right stuff. But birth outcomes can take any direction, and that's something that, thank goodness our stats are really low, and our meaning our birth outcomes are really good for midwives. But things still happen nonetheless, and that can happen anywhere. But understanding that necessarily doesn't fall into the location of where you birthed is really important, and it more falls into it depends on each situation. So identifying the case by case and what happened and why is more important than just saying something happened with a midwife. Well, it's very general and it doesn't really specify the skill or the location having to be at fault. So anyway, that's my summary. Thank you guys.